Welcome back to Right Fashion Academy YouTube channel for another interesting tutorial. So in this tutorial, I'll be teaching you how to make this beautiful gown, as you can see right there. So the gown is actually a cowl neckline, and it has also a pleated cowl sleeve, as you can see right here. Okay, so this pleated cowl sleeve has a cuff, as you can see. So this is actually looking beautiful. So I have to sew this on one sleeve first to show you how it looks like. So but if you are making this dress, you are going to make it to the other sleeve as well. So if this is what you want to learn in this class, I encourage you to stay till the end of this tutorial to learn more. Thank you. You just need your front basic pattern and your back basic pattern. So why you need your front and back basic pattern is because this is a gown. Okay, so for this particular gown, I'm going to first start working from the back dress. So this back dress has no darts. We are not working with any darts. So this is my center back for my basic bodice pattern. We are going to have a zipper because of this is a gown. Okay, so now at the center back, I'll just go ahead and contour. I'm going to contour by 0.75. So I'll just go ahead and mark 0.75. So I'm going to contour my back because I don't want any zip bulge at the back. So I'm going to take off what I have right here. Then I'll measure back my waist divided by 4. Okay, so this is my waist divided by 4 and my bust divided by 4. So I'll just go ahead and reconnect the contour lines. So I believe you understand that. So I just replaced what I have right here at the center back line. So the neckline is actually going to be a high neckline for the back, and it's going to have a zipper to the waistline. So if you look at the back, you can see the back length is the same with the front length. So my front length from shoulder to is 17. Okay, and my back length is also the same 17 inches. So there's no bust dart. That's why we have the both at equal length. So this is my center front, and this center front is going to be on fold. So now I'm going to cut out this pattern right now because we want to start working on our cowl neck dress. Okay, so now what I have here is the 3x3 normal neckline. So but if you want it exactly how we have it on the thumbnail, so I'll just advise you from this point come in by 4.5 inches. So once you come in by 4.5 inches, then you can do what? You can go ahead and reconnect to 1 inch. So I'll just mark out 1 inch. That is how the cowl neckline is going to be. Of course, you see what I mean by that. So I'll just go ahead and connect that 4.5 to 4 inches, and I'll also go in from here, from the shoulder depth, and I'll come in by 4.5. So once I come in by 4.5, I'll also do what? Reconnect back to the 1 inch neckline. So what I did there is just a little adjustment to my neckline. So I'll now go ahead and cut what I have on my pattern. So I'll just go ahead and cut. So what I have here is my normal bust circumference divided by 4. So my bust circumference divided by 4 is 10 inches. And my waist circumference divided by 4 is 9.5. So I added nothing unless you want to add an ease of 1/2 inch. Okay, so you can go ahead and add ease of 1/2 inch to the both sides. But for this tutorial, I'll just cut it the way it is right here. So once I get here, because of the cowl neckline we are making, I'm going to work with this neckline. and I'll go ahead and cut. Okay, so I'll just go here. All right, so this is how your pattern is supposed to look like. Then for the back pattern, I'll just cut through the replacements of my zip, and I'll go into my armhole. Then I'll go through the shoulder seam, and I'll finally cut through the 0.5 I came in. Then from the center back, I'll simply go into the zip contour line. So I'll just cut out. So that is what you need for this particular, for back and for front, and that is what we are going to use to cut. So now I'll work on the front now. So for the front, I'll simply come from the shoulder, and I'm going to mark 6 inches from the shoulder. Simply mark 6 inches, and once you have done that, you draw a straight line. So this straight line I've drawn, that is what we are going to use to construct our cowl. So I'll just cut it just very close. Can you see? So on the fabric, we are going to open it up. After cutting my pattern, I'm going to place it on top of my fabric. But before I do that, you have to make sure you place your fabric on fold, as you can see. So my fabric is going to be on fold this way. So you can see that it's on fold. Then the folded part, I'll come in with my pattern, which I slashed. And I'm going to ensure I have it pin at the center front. Please be careful this part does not go out. Please, it just slipped off right now. So I'll secure with my pin, as you can see now. So now I'll just hold it down with my masking tape. So now from this point, I'm going to open it up at 6 inches. So it depends on how wide you want to open. Okay, but I just want it minimal, so I'm going to open at 6 inches. So this 6 inches I measured now, I'll go ahead and extend the line. I will extend the line to touch this, so I'll keep moving it to touch this. Can you see? That is the 6 inches. So if you want it more than, if you measure, you extend to touch the line. I believe you understand, but I just want it exactly at this point. So I just hold it down with my pin. So the next thing we are going to do now, we are going to do this. Can you see what I did? I'll just do this like this. All right, then from that point, I'm going to add my seam allowance of 1/2 inch. I'll keep adding my seam allowance of 1/2 inch like that. Then once I get to this point, I'm going to add 1 inch for my seam allowance for this side. So I'll add 1 inch, and here I'll add 1/2 inch. So I'm going to take off my pattern now, and I'm going to cut everything according to my seam allowances I added. So I'll just go ahead and cut. I'll go to the side, I'll cut, I'll come into the armhole, I'll follow the seam allowance, I'll come to the shoulder, I'll add the seam allowance. Then once I get here, I'll just raise this part up and cut it straight, as you can see. Can you see that? So I'm going to take off what I have on my pattern. So once you take off your pattern, you have your cowl neckline. Okay, so the fabric you'll be working with will be a Duchess fabric. So this is what we have. So I'll place it on top to cut out the facing. So once you have placed it on top of the fabric, this is the chest line. So at the chest line, you just come down by 2 inches. Okay, so I'll just come down that by 2 inches at the chest line. So when I'm cutting now, I'm going to simply cut this way. Then I'll cut through the shoulder seam line. I'll go through the armhole. So by the time I get to that 2 inches marking, I'm going to lift up the fabric and I'll cut straight. Can you see? So now at the end of the day, we have our dress and we have the facing. So this facing, we are going to use it to stitch this part. Can you see? So this is where we'll have it. So when we'll be stitching it, of course, you see how that is done. So we are done with the front dress and we want to cut out the back dress. So I've gone ahead to cut out the back pattern. I added 1/2 inch armhole, 1 inch on the side and 1 inch on the zipper, 0.5 inch normal. But another thing I did was I also cut a facing. So if you look at this, you can see that is the facing for the back. So like I took the measurement for the front of the facing. The front facing, I had it at 2 inches. So I'm going to also reduce this at 2 inches. So I just go ahead and reduce my facing from the chest line at 2 inches. Can you see that? So that's what I'm going to use to face this dress. So this is the front bodice and this is the facing. So I just go ahead and secure my facing. I'm going to pin at this point and pin at the shoulder point. So make sure your shoulder points are equal. Of course, they are supposed to be equal if you cut correctly. So I just take my time and pin them. So once I've pinned, another thing I want to do now is to curve into this line, this sharp point. We are going to make a curve so it's not that sharp. So I'll just go ahead and do this. Okay. So I'll just go ahead and trim off the curve so it makes it look more unique. Okay. So this is it. So I'll just go ahead and sew now. I'm going to sew at 0.5 and top stitch. So I'll go to my machine, sew and top stitch, leaving the shoulder seam line. So right now I have to stitch from end to end and I top stitch before I lay it together and stitch at 0.5 on the armhole. So here you can see the facing. So I'll just go ahead and finish up this part by either folding or by weaving. Okay, so once that is done, you can see here is open. That is the shoulder seam line is open for the lining and for the fabric. So but before I turn, please, I will advise you go ahead and place notches. So I just turn around and go to the armhole. I'm going to place my notches because this part is curvy. So if you don't place the notches, it's not going to turn and relax. So I'll go ahead and place my notches. Okay, so then I can now go ahead and turn. So as I'm going to sew now, as I'm going to iron, I'll make sure I iron the armhole. Can you see that? I'll iron it nicely. So I'll just go ahead and give it a good press. So I'm done sewing the back too, and I also stitched it using the same pattern. So I stitched the facing to it, and my armhole I'll also place a notch because I stitched the armhole as well. The neckline I'll also place a notch. I'll do that for the both of them. So once I'm done, next is to turn the dress. So you can see here is open and here is open, so you have to put the seam lines very open and then go ahead and give it a good press. So I'll just go ahead and press it down, then show you how to sew them together. Right, so this is what I have after I'm done ironing, and I'm going to place this is the shoulder seam line, okay, this is the cowl area. So I'll bring in the back, and I'm going to stitch the back. Can you see? So see how I'm going to stitch it. I'll have this open up here, turn it, put this inside this, and use the facing to do what? To turn it around. So we'll have a perfect inseam finishing. So you can see me arranging this. So make sure you arrange it appropriately. Can you see? So once it goes in there, you can go ahead and secure with your pin. So that is exactly what I'm going to do for the other part. So I'll go ahead and sew at 0.5. Let me do that. So I just want to show you what I have after stitching the shoulder seam line. So if I take off my pins, I'm going to turn it around. So when you turn it around, this is exactly what we are talking about. So you can see we have a neat finishing inside and outside the dress. Okay, so we have the armhole neatly finished as well. So you are going to see why we need to neatly finish, because of the sleeve. The sleeve will start at the mid armhole. So I'm going to repeat what I did right here to this other side, then we'll go ahead and close the sides. So after closing the shoulder lines, as you can see, the next thing I will do now is to close my armhole from the facing, my side from the facing. So I'll go ahead and stitch right from the facing 1 inch to the end. I'll do that for the other side. Secure with my pin on the seam line. So after sewing 1 inch to the end, I'll take off my pin, and this is what you will have. So I'm going to iron open. Of course, when I iron open, I will have this lay this way. Can you see? So if you are making a full lining, you can see it will run all the way to the end of your lining. So you also have the lining to attach to the lining to the skirt. Okay, but since I'm not making a full lining, I'll just have to pin it right here. But make sure you set this so it looks very neat. So you can see the armhole. So I'm going to repeat the same process for the other side as well. Alright people, so it's time for us to start working on the sleeves. So for the sleeves, I'm using my full basic body sleeve, as you can see. So this basic body sleeve, if you look at this point, this is the cap height to the bicep. So I'll just find the midpoint. So I already have my midpoint, that is half of this to this. So whatever you measure from here to here, so this is what I mean, or whatever you measure, you can go around it this way. Just measure around your armhole. So here I have 9 inches, and 4.5 is half of it. So that is how I got this line. So I'll just place my ruler straight and make a straight line. So what am I going to do with this line? I'll simply go ahead and fold my basic sleeve this way. So once I fold it that way, okay, so we want to start up the sleeve. So for the sleeve right now, you need to place your fabric on fold. So this fabric I'm placing on fold, I will have the length at 10 inches, okay, on fold. When I open it, I'll have 20 inches. So right now, I'm going to first of all measure from the top of it. I'll measure 10 inches. So 10 inches will be my starting point. So from this starting point, I'll pick up down my basic sleeve, which I folded, and I'm going to place the folded part of my basic sleeve. So let me just turn it this way. So I'll measure from the top of it 10 inches. and I'll mark. So at this 10 inches right now, this is the folded part. So I'll come in with my sleeve like this. Can you see that? So I'll place it on the folded part. I'll just push it for, I'm going to leave about 3 inches from that point before I secure with my pin. So the 3 inches gap will run all the way to the end. So I'll go ahead and secure them with my pins right now. Okay, so I'll secure it with my pins right now. So now this part I left at 10 inches, I'm going to practically make pleats from here to here. So since I have the line, I'll just go ahead and make a notch to it. So I'm going to my machine now. I'm going to make pleats. So let me do the pleats before I come in with my basic sleeve. So the length of this sleeve, as you can see, after the 10 inches, the length of the sleeve from that 10 inches up will terminate at the basic sleeve. So I'll just have the length match with the basic sleeve. Okay, so now I'm going to go over to the machine. I've made a notch at that 10 inches. So I'll first fold in my first fold. I'll start making my pleats. Of course, you know how to make pleats. I'll keep making pleats till I get to that 10 inches. So it depends on how many pleats you want to make. Okay, so once you are making this, we couldn't have cut out that part because we need to make all these pleats and ensure that the pleat we made matches exactly on this point before we place this to cut the armhole. So you can see I've made my pleats. So you have to make your pleats to the point of the 10 inches we measured. So after making those pleats, I'll put what I have together, as you can see. So I'll just arrange my pleats. So you have to iron out the pleats so it stays nice and flat for you. So once you have arranged the pleats, just simply come in with your basic pattern and you will keep it at the tip of it this way. Can you see that? We are keeping it at the tip of this way. So make sure you keep it straight. Remember we had 3 inches, 3 inches. So that 3 inches, that is what I have right there. So I'll just place it right on top and I'm going to cut out the armhole. This is where we are going to attach to the dress. So make sure you have your 1 inch seam allowance and add 0.5 inch for stitching. Can you see? So once that is done, I'm going to cut straight. So the measurement of what you are going to have here is going to be 3 times of what you have here. So here I have 4.5 inches. So I'll be having like 13 inches. So let's leave it at 13 inches. So this is what we have on the sleeve. So I'll now go ahead and make gathers. I'll gather this. We are going to have a cuff. We are going to have a cuff on this part. So I will gather first, then we'll measure the cuff and sew, then stitch close the side. Now I'm done gathering the down piece. So like I said, the down piece on fold has to be 13 inches or more. So I've gathered it, and the next thing is to come over for the cuff. So for this piece of fabric to mark out my cuff. So for the cuff right now, I'll first place my fabric on fold, and I'll make sure that the fold I have here is at 4.5 inches by length. Okay, so it's 4.5 inches. Then for the width of this cuff, I'm going to make use of 10 inches. Okay, so this 10 inches, it depends on your size. If you're on the smaller size, 10 inches including your seam allowance. So at the end of the after sewing, we'll have everything at 9 inches. So I'll go ahead and cut out this cuff right now. So the length is 10 inches and the width is 4.5. So I'll go ahead and fold another one and place on top of it for the second cuff for the sleeve. So I just place it here, and I also cut. So now I'll just go ahead and turn. After sewing, I'm going to turn the cuff. Okay, so I'm going to match up the seam lines this way. So why we have to go around it this way is so we don't have any seam at all, okay, in there. So this is the cuff. Okay, so just make sure they match at seam line to seam line. So I have it for both of them. So now coming back to my sleeve, which I gathered, I will go ahead and stitch 1/2 inch to the beginning of the sleeve. Let me do it. Now I've stitched close, so I'll just gather and gather and gather and make sure my gathers falls into this cuff. So I'll just bring in this cuff and I'll open up the seam line of the sleeve. I'll push in the cuff in this way and match it seam line to seam line. So I'll go ahead. I'm done stitching around it. So this is what I have on the cuff. So by the time I go ahead and turn, I will have the cuff. Can you see that? So I'll go ahead and arrange the sleeve right now. Go ahead and iron the pleats. Can you see? So if you iron it, it will relax more for you. So this is the armhole area and this is the cuff which we've added. So the next thing is to bring in the sleeve right now. So I'll just go ahead and bring in my bodice. So this is the bodice. Like I said, I'm not actually making a full dress, so that is why I'm doing the upper part to show you. So this is where I'm supposed to have my zipper. After I've attached the down part, my zipper will lay in here. So I'll pick up my armhole, just one of them. I'll use one of the armhole to demonstrate to you. So now from here, this is my armhole from the shoulder to this point. Can you see that? So I'm going to find the midpoint. So definitely the midpoint lays at this point. So what I'll just do now is to go ahead and match up. So I'll just match up what I have on the seam line right now. So I'll just go ahead and match it up. Simply place here, open the seam line. That's just the easiest way. Place it on the seam line, secure with your pin, and then stitch from here to the end and stitch from here to the end as well. So that is what I'm going to do right now. Stitch to the first sleeve. So as I matched it at the shoulder seam line and stitched, I have it all at the mid armhole. Okay, so this is what we have. So I'm going to repeat the same thing for the other side. Okay, so and that is how we'll come to the end of this tutorial. So if you want to go ahead and attach a down piece, you can go ahead and attach your zipper, and we are done with this dress. Thank you for coming and see you in the next class. Bye.